In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. We are just coming to the end of what is traditionally known as Christmastide. For many, Christmas lasts about 24 hours. Namely, those who look upon Christmas mostly for profit, or in a secular sort of way as a celebration. But traditionally, the great season of Christmas lasts through the feast of the presentation of the Lord and the purification of Mary, Candlemas Day on February 2nd. This year, because the start of Lent starts so early, we find the two converging, the end of Christmastide and the start of the penitential time that prepares us for the next great feast, the feast of Easter. Christmas Day and Christmas season is a time of great celebration. We celebrate the birth of a child, and not just any child, the birth of the Son of God, Jesus Christ. And appropriately, we continue that celebration for several weeks. But during the time of celebration, we also have a commemoration, which is far from a celebration. A commemoration of many, many, many children who should have been born into the light of day and baptized into the light of Christ, but were never given that opportunity. Just a week or so ago, our nation marked the tragic anniversary of the legalization of abortion in this nation of ours, some 45 years ago. And since that time, approximately 60 million children have been put to death legally in this nation. 60 million, and probably more, over 45 years. But I have to say that traditional Catholics have never given in to the false notion that an innocent child, an unborn child, can for any reason whatsoever be targeted and put to death. That will never change. And I'm also proud of the many individuals, groups, and organizations in this nation of ours who have tirelessly fought the fight against abortion, tirelessly, year after year after year. Even after 60 million deaths, still fighting against abortion. Probably the majority of which organizations are Catholic, or at least would identify themselves as Christian, who are tireless in the fight. In fact, the first lesson of this Mass is quite appropriate to describe such tireless efforts, where St. Paul likens holding to the faith running in a race, a marathon race, an Olympian race, in which a crown awaits those who have been faithful to the end. And by the way, God does not judge us so much by results, much of which is beyond our personal control. He judges us by our efforts. And the anti-abortion, pro-life efforts in this country, probably beyond any other nation in the world, can truly be described as remarkable and tireless. In this 45th year of legalized abortion, I want to note a dark lining and a silver lining with regards to pro-life efforts to end abortion. The dark lining comes from certain elements within the Catholic Church, even up to the highest levels. We have seen something dredged out of the waste pile that had been formerly cast off, or so we thought, that has been resurrected, if you will, by at least some element of the Catholic Church. It was formerly known under the guise and title of seamless garment. It was championed by a former cardinal of this country, who used the sacred image of the seamless garment that had clothed Christ at his crucifixion as an image of what a pro-life spectrum should look like. And in this seamless garment were included all sorts of causes. Yes, the cause against abortion, but the cause against nuclear weapons or their proliferation, and the cause against an economic injustice, and the cause against capital punishment, and whatever else was woven together allegedly seamlessly. It was a very dangerous image and position for a number of reasons. And first of all, it diminished the priority that the unborn children deserve. In the number one sin of this nation that cries out to heaven for vengeance, namely abortion. Diminish that by elevating others alongside it. It also mistakenly elevated causes about which Catholics can and will disagree, because there is no intrinsic evil involved in some of these other causes. Catholics may legitimately disagree as to whether or not capital punishment should be applied in a certain circumstance by a legitimate government. Catholics can disagree about economic systems and so on. So this allowed other lesser concerns and debatable concerns to be elevated up to the level of that which is inherently, intrinsically evil in each and every instance, the murder of an unborn child. And it also allowed abortionists and their proponents and their supporters to falsely claim that they were pro-life because they held to some other progressive cause, whatever that might be. They were opposed to capital punishment, but not to abortion. And at the same time, they would accuse pro-lifers who were anti-abortion as failing to be pro-life because they did not subscribe to their progressive causes. I thought that that garment had been cast aside, but it's being brought back from the refuge heap by some leading elements all the way up to the Vatican, in which we are finding an orchestrated movement under perhaps a different title to bring back this idea that to be pro-life means to hold to a broad spectrum of causes, including some that are progressive, debatable, and in some cases wrong-minded. The new causes are not simply nuclear proliferation, not simply capital punishment, though those are included. Now it's a matter of radical environmentalism. Now it's a matter of youth unemployment, or whatever other cause they want to weave together. There is no seamless garment except that of Christ, and it's a sacrilege to try and yoke these other issues at the cost of protecting unborn children. That's a sacrilege. It's a filthy rag that needs to be burned once and for all. That's the dark lining that Catholics need to be aware of. The silver lining, on the other hand, comes from a surprising source. Not from the church so much as from the civil political world. For the first time in 45 years, we have a president who not only gives lip service to efforts against abortion, but true service. President Donald Trump, who is not only arguably but demonstrably the most pro-life United States president that we have ever had in 45 years. Among other things, and in the face of terrible opposition, he has pulled back from billions of dollars of American taxpayer money that would otherwise be spent for contraception and abortion in foreign nations. He's cut that supply off. He has pulled our nation out of a United Nations organization that is vociferously, vigorously pro-contraception and pro-abortion. He has enabled individual states to withdraw funding from Planned Parenthood, which is an evil organization. It is diabolical. He has made appointments in the judicial world which are truly promising, not only constitutionally for our nation, but for the pro-life, the true pro-life movement, to protect unborn children. And he's made several appointments within his own administration, including some very vocal and active pro-life Catholics to work alongside him at the administrative level. And he has been the first United States president to speak publicly, personally, and live to the major March for Life held every year out of Washington, D.C. For this, he is hated. He is despised by the fallen world. He is ridiculed. Now, some people may not like some aspects of President Trump. Some people may not like the fact that he's a billionaire, though I think he spends his money well, at least in some cases. I know that there's some people who don't like his tweets. I happen to like many of the presidential tweets. There's some who don't like his hair. I wish I had some of his hair. And many, if they do not openly criticize him, will roll their eyes at the very mention of his name. I encounter it. But I have a suggestion. The next time someone insults our president, whether it's for his tweets or his hairdo or his money or his politics or some personal background or whatever it is, here's a response. I thank God that we have elected and been given a president who is truly pro-life and anti-abortion. Make that your response when somebody rolls his eyes or has something to say about some other aspect of our president. I thank God every day for a president who is truly pro-life, who is working in the face of terrible, diabolical forces in politics, in the media, in movements, diabolical forces that despise him and hate him every day, making plans how to bring him down. They hate him more than anything for his stand for life and the right to practice religion, true religion. the next time someone wants to be critical of him for some other lesser reason. And every day we should pray that the Lord gives this president a good and healthy and long life. I hope a second term in office when that time comes, and to protect him from the forces of evil that so hate the good that he attempts to do, especially when it comes to the protection of unborn children. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost.